Hey everyone, welcome to KSSP Podcast. I'm Spencer.
And I'm Katie. Today we are going to talk about traditionalism. What is it? What's the science behind it? All of that fun stuff. All right, we're going to watch this video. Is tradition important by Tomorrow's World Viewpoint? I have no idea what they're going to say here, so let's see what
Should
they like.
be interesting then, I would think.
Yeah.
Some see it as essential to maintaining stability in a rapidly changing world, while others see it as a senseless anchor, holding back the tide of progression.
Yeah.
Which is it? Is tradition important?
I'm going to just point out, I see it as the second point mostly.
What was the... Oh, that progressive...
Yeah, it's an anchor holding back progressive values.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the time, but it can be.
Not like individual traditions, but
right, not
if you're
individual.
trying to force like a societal traditionalism view, then yes, it does hold back progression
like,
and
definitely. Yeah, it's important right here to separate traditions from traditionalism. They're two different things. And traditionalism is you basically just start to worship tradition, and it closes off your mind from expanding your beliefs altogether. That's, when it gets to an extreme point.
Yeah, we'll see if they make that distinction
but
in this
let's
video.
see exactly, yeah. Let's see what they say.
In the Western world, and in particular in the English-speaking world, there has been over the past 30 years a very considerable loss in the valuing of tradition. The modern context of our society seems to be one that wants to recognize and embrace cultural change and elements drawn from everywhere other than that from which the English-speaking world takes its roots. In England and in English Canada, there is seemingly an embarrassment about teaching our history and the elements of culture that produced the English language, English literature, the modern system of parliamentary democracy, common law, and many of the freedoms the rest of the world wants to emulate. Education officials are reticent to unashamedly teach this heritage, fearful that it would be called bigotry. Yet a nation that forgets its past may well be a nation that will eventually exist only in history.
So what I think he's talking about here is like teaching like the actual facts of history as opposed to the whitewashed version of history. The whitewashed version of history is heavily rooted in tradition. And so I think what he's saying is because we are actually teaching, well, not us, we're not Canadian, but in Canada, I imagine they're doing the same thing. Teaching multiple perspectives of history and not just the white version of history. I mean, I would say that's a good thing, to get everyone's perspective. It gives you a more whole view of what has happened, for sure.
Yes.
Retaining valuable aspects of our culture is critical to develop a proper pride in one's country and its achievements.
Okay, yeah. There it is right there. Nationalism, folks. Just saying.
Because you can have pride without, I mean, my country needs a lot of work. Our country needs a lot of work.
It does, but we still love it.
Yeah, but with that, we can admit that it does have problems, and there are things that we need to work on and fix.
Exactly. And there's such a thing as too much pride, to where you don't see the things you need to fix, and you just focus on the ego, basically, of your country. But yeah, like, the reason I want to change my country is because I love it. Otherwise, I would just leave. I mean, it's not easy to just leave the country, obviously, but in theory.
Yeah, if you'd be working
I'd be working towards that goal of leaving the country if I did not love the country.
Yeah.
Which, and I did think about for a little bit after Roe v. Wade got overturned, but my options are limited, and over the past few months since that's happened, I've, you not gotten over it at all, but,
No.
it's settled in a little bit. And, I still do love this country, even though it has a, big handful of flaws. But I don't love it so much that I'm just going to ignore all the bad things.
No, because if you ignore them, then they'll never get better. Like,
Exactly.
if we ignore the bad things, then the bad things will just be there forever. That's why it's important to talk about them.
Exactly.
This does not equate to disrespecting other nations or cultures, but valuing one's own. It is, however, difficult to ignore the erosion in the Western cultural base. And all manner of things from the work ethic, simple rules of politeness, protocols when meeting people, actions of respect to elders, how we dress for school, or even how teachers or persons of authority are addressed. The decay in traditional values is evident.
Yeah.
Is he saying that we aren't polite? Is he saying we're not those things anymore?
Yeah,
Like, I
he's
guess,
saying
I
that.
mean,
Well, yeah, he's saying that we're losing all of our traditional values because society is evolving.
and I mean, I guess I can't,
But
like,
it's like,
I don't
I
know what
mean,
how they, I mean, I doubt Canada's any less polite and treats their elders
I'm
any
pretty sure
less
they're more
with
polite in
respect.
Canada than America.
Yeah, well, when was this
I mean, that's the
video?
whole meme.
Because I wonder, like, if he's saying that they're not, like, they're becoming less polite, like they're losing that
Yeah,
tradition of politeness. But they're, and I mean,
but
but
that's
people say that about America too. So
yeah.
we
Oh
can,
yeah.
I can discredit that. Like,
At least in America, it's definitely, we
people
definitely
are
have
still kind in
traditional
America.
values rooted into our society. It's not just all eroding at once. Like,
And
we're
kindness
trying to
is,
fix certain issues, and that's changing for the better. But this, some people just want the world to stay stagnant and press a pause button forever.
but most of those values are global. Caring for your elders,
Yeah,
being
that's true.
kind, those are going to be everywhere you, or they should
Yeah. Although, like the how
be
you
everywhere
dress
you
and
go.
how, I don't know what he
Well,
means by how teachers are addressed, but
yeah,
like how you dress is going to vary, obviously. But
yeah, but we
yeah, a lot
shouldn't.
of the things are pretty standard societal constructs for many societies.
And the dressing, nobody is better. Like, our society, the way we dress isn't better than the way another society dresses, and it's okay for,
Exactly. It's just
especially
clothing.
styles change all the time in America,
Oh
at
yeah.
least. Like, I mean, we go
All,
through,
all over the world, yeah.
yeah,
Like
I was
go to
gonna
like
say, I
Milan
think,
or something. They have new fashion every season.
okay, yes, I assumed that everywhere was like that too. So it's, I mean,
Yeah.
we still have different, I would say, overall themes kind of with how we're dressed, but either way, nobody's
Yeah.
style is better or more morally better than anyone else's. It's all
Right.
clothes. So it,
Right. I mean, and the way we dress isn't any better than like maybe how like a tribe that hasn't been exposed to Western culture, like how they dress.
no,
Like it's just clothing. It doesn't matter. Like it
yeah,
doesn't make anyone better or worse than anyone else or more or less civilized or anything like that.
no. And it's about what people feel comfortable in and just
Exactly.
expressing themselves. That's a way that we express ourselves as individuals
And
too.
yeah, it's also a matter of what you have access to in your society too.
Yeah.
Like what kind of tools you have, how industrialized it is, all that
And
fun
that
stuff.
also changes over time. And so
Yeah.
it's always, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah. It's just interesting. They pick one specific point in history they just want to pause on, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like,
Because what is the original
right.
tradition of
Like,
the society of the human race? Like, is
right.
that the tradition you want, or do you
Like
just
they'll
want this
say,
tradition?
yeah, like they'll say classical music is just so traditional and it's very classy. But like when Beethoven came out with his music, for example, like it was just seen as like street music, you know? Like it wasn't like glorified like it is today. Like they definitely thought of it the same way that like, you know, traditionalists will think of like hip hop music now or whatever.
Yeah, I guess I didn't
Like
know that,
people have
but that makes
always
sense.
been, there's always been traditionalism in societies, and that point of reference has changed over time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as it would, like as you would expect too, because
Right.
again, like society is just comment like naturally gonna move forward and progress. Like that's
Yeah.
just the natural flow of
Like I'm
the
pretty
world.
sure like for example, like girls used to be dressed in blue and boys were dressed in pink, and then they switched it for like some kind of marketing purposes.
Well, and men used to wear heels. Like I think heels were
Yeah.
invented for men.
Yeah,
So
which would make more sense because men usually want to be taller.
yeah, I guess I don't know the reasoning, but I just know that men
Yeah.
like used to wear heels. But now if a man wears heels, he's that's not traditionalism or whatever, or like
Right.
that's not the
That's the
traditional
opposite of
value.
traditional.
But
Even though it used to be traditional.
yeah, exactly. So they're
It's
again,
just
they're
interesting.
just picking and choosing,
Right.
kind of like
It's
they do with
cherry
words.
picking history. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Like they do
or
when they do with
anything.
words.
What they do with
Yeah. With religion sometimes.
it's all about control is basically what it boils down to. They don't
Yeah.
actually care about what's the truth about anything. They just want to control others and
Right.
how others act and
They,
behave.
yeah. They just want to dictate reality for everybody, basically. That's the
Yeah.
ultimate goal.
And that's wrong,
Right.
obviously.
The veneer of civilization is very thin, and traditions, protocols, and accepted established expressions of polite behavior, if lost or not respected, bode ill for the future of such a society. It is interesting to see what is happening in other cultures. For example, in present day China, a great deal of emphasis is being placed on the maintenance of the ancient traditions of respect and politeness. The writings of Confucius, a government administrator of 500 BC, are again being taught in all Chinese schools. The
Okay.
Cultural Revolution that began in 1966 tried to extinguish the ideas of the past, and especially those of Confucius. Yet the new leadership of China has realized the importance of standards and moral education. The mere fact that the Chinese government has the Chinese culture being represented around the world by Confucius Institutes is a testimony to the importance China is placing.
Okay. This is just interesting. He's talking about the culture of China, right? But
Yeah.
like, 'cause there's a lot of cultures in China.
Like
Like, there's a lot of
previously.
different, like, there's 56 official ethnic groups. I guess the largest group, the Han, makes up over 92% of China's vast population, and it is the elements of the Han civilization regarded as Chinese culture. But there's, okay. So it's kind of similar to, like, you know, how white culture for a long time in America has been the dominant culture. But the difference is they're trying to change that. I mean, I'm not an expert in Chinese culture, so I don't know all the facts here, but
Yeah, and I
like
don't
I
know.
do know that it's not just there's not just one single Chinese culture in China.
No, I mean that. Yeah,
Even if,
there's gonna
you
be.
know, they're trying to if he's saying they're trying to enforce that, which I don't know if I trust this
Yeah.
guy or not.
Well,
We'll
and
just
the
go with him say we'll say yes for now though.
well, and the values that he said they're now teaching in school, respect and kindness, again, are
Those are good
universal
values.
values. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the other, like the Confucius, that I don't know China's politics or any, like, I don't know
yeah.
what they're
Like
trying to force
Confucianism,
or push.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't studied that stuff in a long time, so my mind's
No.
blank on that.
Yeah.
But like I think that he has like a list of the three main beliefs: inner virtue, morality, and respect for the community and its values. So that's the three main beliefs of Confucianism.
I mean, I would say as long as they're teaching all of it and not just one, like as
Well, I
long as
think
they're
they are
not
teaching it as a doctrine. I don't think they're teaching it
uh
as like an individual religion or belief system, I should say, of a list of beliefs. Like I think they're just teaching it as the main belief. At least this is what this guy is saying. Who knows if that's even true?
so
But
then
I
that would
think
be
that's what he's
more
implying.
indoctrination in a way than
Yeah. But I think
actually.
he's saying it as a good thing though.
No, yeah, that's concerning though. That he
Right.
thinks that you should be forced to be taught only a certain way of life or history.
Right.
That's concerning. Why we should know
Yeah.
all the facts of every history in the past. I think like it's good to just know
Yeah.
about obviously global issues in the past and global history and not just our own country's history. It's
Right.
good to know all of it, I would say. I mean, I know that's a
Definitely.
lot and I don't expect people to memorize it, but just
Right.
being aware of it, I think, is always good. And it helps with diversity, I would say, too, because then you can understand some other people's perspective. I mean, not fully, but you can at least see what they and what they've been through or what their, I guess, ancestors in a way have been through too. So then you can try to understand them a little more. Never fully understand them because we're all going to have different experiences and different lived lives, but it just helps to open our minds to other experiences, I would say.
Yeah. I'm trying to find something, I should say, in schools. That's what I'm looking for. Confucius revolutionized education by providing education to all. According to him, education has no class distinction. All human beings are teachable and improvable. A person desiring an education should be educated. So that's not bad stuff necessarily.
You could,
But
if you Google, does China's school teach all history or just like a specific sub or something like that? Basically, like, is China indoctrinating their kids? But I don't know.
so China does not allow religious communities to run schools for children, even though regulations do not forbid the provision of religious education to minors. Nor is religious education provided in state schools. Um,
I mean, that's not, I don't know. I don't think that's bad because as long as they're not teaching any religion, is
right,
what I
they're
would
not
say.
teaching any religion
Yeah. So that's okay because you can
except
learn
for
about religion.
Confucianism. But I mean,
Is that a religion?
Confucianism isn't like an indoctrinating type of religion
Isn't
necessarily
that
because they
more
don't
like
have like a
philosophy
yeah, it's more
kind
of a
of?
philosophy than
Okay.
like a worship of any kind.
Yeah, but he's kind of trying to compare it to traditionalism.
Oh yeah, he's trying to. Yeah, I'm sure he's comparing it to Christianity in his mind. Like,
Is that the dominant religion in Canada too then?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, as far as I
Okay.
know. I mean, yeah, my family. I have family in Canada, and they're all Christian.
Okay.
I think it depends where you live too, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's
yeah.
going to be different groups everywhere. But I didn't know if that was the dom. And I guess, is that the dominant in the whole North American world? Or is it the
And like the
dominant?
Western world, it is.
Oh, okay.
I guess you could call it like, yeah, you know, like Europe and America and Canada,
And does even
and even
Mexico?
Mexico too,
Yeah, I was like, I think
and
they,
even like
yeah.
South America. I would say there's a lot
So
of Christianity.
it's a
It's
pretty
pretty common in the
dominating.
Western world.
Yeah.
Yeah, dominating is a better word.
I mean, and that's what they did in the past too. Like that's how they spread it
Yeah, I mean, the
everywhere.
Crusades,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So, is a testimony to the importance China is placing on Confucian values. Okay.
On Confucian values and the critical role China sees for these traditions. In August 2009, I was present in Beijing when a great Chinese scholar and former vice chair of the National Congress, Dr. Xu Jiaolu, stated to an assembly of leaders of Chinese educational systems, and I quote, "I charge you to make our young
Oh,
boys into strong and gentle men, and our young girls into gracious ladies." This charge was well received and is being implemented in Chinese schools as they strive to reestablish links to ancient China in the context of the new.
I mean, yeah, I don't know the context of that statement, but it does strike me as a little problematic. Not
Yes.
gonna lie.
Yeah, it's very, all it does is enforce gender stereotypes and gender norms.
Right.
But again, we don't know the full context of that statement, but even just that
Just
phrase itself is,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that pretty much forces conformity and
Right. And
not
that's the
divert,
problem with
like,
traditionalism is it likes to inhibit self-expression in general.
yeah, and that's wrong, because that's,
I mean, people should be free to express themselves if they're not hurting
yes,
anybody.
that's part of human nature. We all,
Right.
like, that's just part of us. We want to express ourselves. That's normal. That's what,
Right. And the way that we want to express ourselves is up to us.
yeah,
Really, if we're not hurting anybody.
yeah, definitely.
It is realized by the leadership of the nation that this is necessary to build a strong, peaceful, and united nation. This is a great lesson we can learn. The
Mm.
valuing of the past and the greatness of the ideas upon which a society is predicated must be preserved if that society is to thrive.
Why? Just my
So,
question is why? Like,
for if we're gonna
where's the evidence?
place that fact in America, well, I guess there are people who think that we should go back to the founders' beliefs of you
Oh,
had to be
yeah.
a white male property owner to vote and to
Yeah.
have a say in how the government is run, but that's wrong.
Right.
So we want to move away from that society. We don't want that society to thrive. We can learn about it. It's important to learn
Right.
about it and understand so that we can
And you can
prevent
take
it.
pieces of tradition that are good and
Yeah.
incorporate them into your society. But when your traditions start to oppress other people, put other people down, whatever, like, then your tradition is no longer valid.
Yeah, agreed. Because as a society, we should evolve. We shouldn't
Right.
stay the same. And evolving is understanding that all humans have rights and are worthy of rights,
Yes.
not only a specific group that founded the society.
Exactly.
China now understands the value of a society united in a common set of values, morals, and social traditions. The rapid ascent of that nation and the newfound stability and prosperity of China is a testimony to the wisdom of the current government's approach.
I just wanna. How do you spell this? Real quick, just because this guy is really kissing up to China here. So, China has been accused of committing crimes against humanity. Oh my goodness. There we go. And possibly genocide against the Uyghur population and other mostly Muslim ethnic groups in the northwestern region of Xinjiang. Human rights groups believe China has detained more than 1 million Uyghurs against their will over the past few years in a large network of what the state calls re education camps and sentenced hundreds of thousands to prison terms. A series of police files obtained by the BBC in 2022 has revealed details of China's use of these camps and described the routine use of armed officers and the existence of a shoot to kill policy for those trying to escape.
What the
The
fuck?
U.S. is among several countries to have previously accused China of committing genocide in Xinjiang. The leading human rights groups Amnesty and Human Rights Watch have published reports accusing China of crimes against humanity. China denies all allegations of human rights abuses in Xinjiang. The Chinese government, speaking after details of Xinjiang police files were published, said the peace and prosperity brought to Xinjiang as a result of its anti terrorism measures were the best response to all sorts of lies. All right, so the Uyghurs, there's about 12 million Uyghurs, mostly Muslim, living in Xinjiang, which is officially known as the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. They speak their own language, which is similar to Turkish, and see themselves as culturally and ethnically close to Central Asian nations. They make up less than half of the Xinjiang population. Recent decades have seen a mass migration of Han Chinese, China's ethnic majority, into Xinjiang, allegedly orchestrated by the state to dilute the minority population there. China has also been accused of targeting Muslim religious figures and banning religious practices in the region, as well as destroying mosques and tombs. Uyghur activists say they fear the group's culture is under threat of erasure. So here's a map of where the Uyghurs live. So the allegations against China accuse China of committing genocide, defined by international convention as the intent to destroy in whole or part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. The declaration follows reports, as well as interning Uyghurs in camps. China has been forcibly mass sterilizing Uyghur women to suppress the population. So China is committing genocide and crimes against humanity. That's basically the gist of it. So this guy is just praising China's tradition and culture over here. And look where those kinds of policies have led them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's wrong, obviously.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why this is kind of bothering me a little bit. That this guy's just talk about how great China's traditions are
Yeah,
when their traditions are leading to potentially a genocide. Now, this
and
is
it's
alleged. So,
yeah. Well,
but
and I mean, not that this is well, because they're also part of that group that wants to take down the UN, obviously.
who China is?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I think then the Chinese. I don't. He's not a president. Then the Chinese dictator threatened try to the Canada prime minister recently, or not
Well, I don't know about
threaten,
that.
but he said something that could be taken threateningly.
Let's see.
He basically said something like "Don't cross me again" or something like that. Or I think the top one, the leaks.
Oh, the leaks. Okay, let
I
me
don't know
look.
what leaks were. I don't know, but
Leaked discussions between Justin Trudeau and Xi Jinping.
yeah, the mutual respect part.
Okay. If there was sincerity on your part, then we shall conduct our discussion with an attitude of mutual respect. Otherwise, there might be unpredictable consequences. She tells the Canadian leader in Mandarin. And then, so he got cut off by Trudeau. In Canada, we believe in a free and open and frank dialogue, Trudeau said, adding, we will continue to work constructively together, but there will be things that we disagree on. Let's create the conditions first, said the translator for Xi. The Chinese leader then shakes Trudeau's hand and walks away with his entourage. So I need it.
So yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't.
So, okay, I see what he's implying there. It seems like
Yeah,
he's implying that, if you disagree with me, that's disrespect,
yeah, which is
which is ridiculous.
it's
Yeah.
childish. He's acting like a child. Obviously, anybody who tries to do
Mhm.
what he's
He is like
doing,
a child. Like he banned
yes,
Winnie the Pooh because people
he
were saying he
did.
looked like him. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my.
Yeah, people kept making memes about it, how he looked like Winnie the Pooh. And so he like banned Winnie the Pooh, pretty much.
And these people have power. That's
Right.
concerning. People who act like children should not have power or be able to. decide, oh, I just want to start nuclear winter tomorrow. Like,
Right. Like,
what?
oh my gosh.
It's concerning.
Yeah, a little bit. All right. A testimony to the wisdom of the current government's approach of China. All right.
Here in Canada, we need to start to think of the implications of allowing continued erosion of our heritage. We might do well to consider the traditions, history, and lessons which were miraculously preserved and passed on for millennia in a book which heavily influenced Western civilization.
The
The
Bible.
text known as the Bible
I knew
is the
it.
source of most of our laws. Perhaps it
Oh.
is time to rediscover the roots of Western culture.
No.
Okay, the whole reason this country was founded was to literally prevent a theocracy. So, like, I don't
Canada
think it
too?
follows that the Bible is going to lead us to, the strongest society in America. It kind of
Yeah.
goes against everything this country is founded on. But
Canada
that's,
might be different though, right? Like, I guess I don't know their history.
oh, well, that's true. I keep forgetting this dude's in Canada.
But he did
But they
say
still have religious
Western
freedom there.
culture. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know much about
I
Canada's
mean, they still
stuff.
should. They still have religious freedom, and if they don't, then they
Okay.
should. But I'm pretty sure that they have very similar laws to ours
Yeah,
about practicing religion. I mean, I don't know if it's in their constitution or not, but like I know it's in their laws.
The hour is late.
Uh-oh.
I'm Stuart Vahovich for Tomorrow's World Viewpoint. To subscribe to our channel, click here. To
no.
access articles,
All right, yeah, we're done with that. That was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah,
I
so
do. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say tradition.
Oh, yeah. So right now we are going to celebrate. Right now we are going to separate traditionalism and tradition. We
Okay.
talked about traditionalism. Now we're going to talk about tradition, which tradition is just like, an individual or family practice that you commonly do on like in a ritualistic scheduled way. I guess would be, I don't know. That's how I would put it.
Yeah. Like every year on the
Yeah, like
25th for people who celebrate Christmas,
it's Christmas and you put gifts under the tree. That's a tradition.
it's
You
ritualistic,
decorate the
yes.
house, tradition. You eat the same meal every year for Christmas or for Hanukkah or whatever. That's tradition. There's all kinds of tradition. And
Yeah.
traditions themselves boost happiness. Family traditions boost happiness.
Oh.
And this is the Scientific American, so I trust them.
Yeah.
The holidays can bring joy or dread, but family rituals make them enjoyable, research suggests. Some people go home for the holidays hoping just to survive, burying their attention in their phones or football to avoid conflict with relatives. Yet research now suggests that that is the wrong idea. Family rituals of any form can save a holiday, making it well worth the effort of getting everyone in the same room. In a series of studies to be published in the Journal of Association for Consumer Research, hundreds of online subjects describe rituals they perform with their families during Christmas, New Year's Day, and Easter. From tree decoration to egg hunts, those who say they perform collective rituals compared with those who said that they do not felt closer to their families, which made the holidays more interesting, which in turn made them more enjoyable. Most surprising, the types of rituals they described family dinners with special foods, religious ceremonies, watching the ball drop in Times Square did not have a direct bearing on enjoyment, but the number of rituals did. Apparently, having family rituals makes the holiday better, and the more the merrier. So yeah, basically it doesn't matter what the tradition is or what the ritual is. Like as long as there's some kind of traditional ritual, like whether it's religious or not, like having more of them is better.
Did you have, or do you have any ritual, or yeah, traditions, rituals that you follow with your family?
Not a whole lot. I mean, like for example, when I was a kid, we had the Christmas tree and we put the presents under the tree. On Thanksgiving, same food every year, the whether we go out to dinner, whether we make it ourselves. The turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, pumpkin pie, all that. Most of my rituals in my family are food rituals, I would say,
Okay.
or like decoration for Christmas would be the only other thing, really, and like having the stockings and all that stuff. Do you have any traditions that stand out to you?
We so for Christmas, my aunt always gets us kind of like a gag gift that my brother and cousins always have to open at the same time. So,
Mhm.
and it's always well, I
Okay.
don't even like half a lot of times it's what was it last year? I think it was a jello shot with money
Oh,
hidden under it, like glued.
interesting.
So two shot cups were like glued together. So then we had to.
Oh,
So she always tries to make it fun. Like one year, I think she
okay.
made like a diaper, like a baby diaper,
Okay.
and put like chocolate on it to make it look like
Yeah.
a dirty diaper, and then there's money in it. So she just always tries to find something, and I think that does help in a way bring us
Oh,
together. Like we always open our presents together too.
that,
That's a tradition we
yeah.
do. But
That reminds me of a tradition my family used to do
yeah.
when not with me, but they do this always with my brother. He would like get a big box and then it would have a bunch of boxes inside of it, and then it would just be like a gift card or something. But like he would have
That's
to open all the boxes, and it was this long process. And I remember that. And then we also had, I wonder if I can find them. Christmas cracker gift. Um, yeah, these things. Like we on Christmas when we spend it with the whole family at least, we get these things. And like they have like little trinkets inside of them and stuff like that. Like or
oh,
candy or whatever.
okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So we do that. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, so traditions, yeah. I definitely understand how they can make
It's
you
fun.
happy, feel connected with your family for sure. And we always do like you mentioned, I think Thanksgiving, like the food, we always eat those big holiday meals together, so Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then Easter, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Easter
know we're
too. Yeah.
adults, but well, I don't sometimes they still get us little like just small tiny Easter baskets just
Yeah.
because it's a tradition that my
Oh
family has
yeah.
always
That's
followed
another
too. So
tradition too.
yeah, so there's a bunch of traditions around.
Or like there's other traditions I feel like not related to the holidays. Like the one I can think of is like
Yeah.
the tooth fairy is a tradition. Like
Oh
whenever
yeah.
you lose a tooth, you get $1 or whatever amount of money they give you, you know?
Yeah, I mean I think my family did. I don't remember now if I ever got money for putting
Oh,
a
you never got money from the tooth
I
fairy?
don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I think I did.
Interesting.
Cuz then don't
I
some
remember getting money from the tooth
parents
fairy.
like keep those teeth? I don't know if my
Yeah.
parents kept my teeth, but
I mean, I feel like that's something I would do. I'm such a hoarder sometimes. Just depends on
yeah.
what it is. Like, I would be that parent to keep the teeth like in a jar or something,
It's just like
or like make a necklace out of it.
oh no. I mean, not it's not
Creepy.
wrong.
I
It's not bad. It's just
mean, yeah, it's not bad.
interest.
It's just
I don't
weird me
know.
out. Like
Like
keeping the teeth, I understand, but some people make them into like necklaces and stuff, and then I'm like, that's a little weird.
yeah, it's
I
odd,
mean, you
but
can
it's
do you.
okay.
Like, I'm not
Yes.
saying you can't do that. I'm just saying I find it a little off-putting
But you
myself.
also have to understand that people will find that weird and that is okay. It's
Yeah.
okay if someone finds that
Right.
odd. They're not it's just different and that's okay. It's okay to be
Yeah.
different, but you have to understand that if
Yeah.
you do something that is perceived as different, people may think it's different and weird. But that's okay. And it's okay for us to think that as long as we're not rude. There's still respect. We still
Yeah.
respect like that's a freedom choice. That person can do that, but it's just different. Not yeah, it's just different, and
Yeah.
that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
It's just not something we would do. I guess I don't think I would
Exactly.
do it, and I don't even know how you would, because wouldn't you have to drill holes in the teeth to like get the string
Probably,
through to
but
make? Yeah,
people are crafty these days.
that's true. Yeah, there's probably a bunch of different ways you could do it, but
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna continue with this article if that's okay here.
yes,
Unless you have anything to okay. So the study could measure only correlations between subjects' responses, leaving causality uncertain. Do rituals increase holiday pleasure, or do people who already enjoy the holidays choose to perform more rituals? That's actually a great question. Yet enjoyment ratings were higher when given after versus before describing rituals, suggesting that simply thinking about rituals can put a warm filter on one's experience. Whatever the ritual is and however small it may seem, it helps people to really get close to one another, says Ovule Caesar, a researcher at Harvard Business School and the paper's primary author. With some rituals, we don't even know why we do them, but they still work, she says. It could be that rituals offer small, non obvious ways to get people to share an experience without feeling awkward or forced, suggests Kathleen Vose, a psychologist at the University of Minnesota. Oh, cool. And one of Caesar's co authors. She compares that with obvious ploys, such as saying, "Hey everyone, gather around the kitchen table, we're going to play Yahtzee," which she notes might be more likely to produce a whole lot of kickback. So, yeah, basically, this seems to imply that traditions help us to feel closer to each other, but at the same time, I also think people who have different traditions, it might cause them to clash with each other a little bit if they're in a situation where, like, they need to choose between traditions,
yeah,
or if they, even if it's just in their head that they need to choose a tradition when they don't. And then this is about routines. So if you've been diagnosed with ADHD, understand and accept that your brain may be wired differently when creating routines. Yeah, the above qualities are not your personality traits or lack of willpower. They are part of what makes you unique. So, okay, to create a routine, you want to start with small changes and then find support. Create both digital and visual reminders. This one's very true. I do like sticky notes and phone alarms, both help
yeah.
if you have them both. And then be patient with yourself and find a treatment plan that works for you. Oh, and then that's an ad for Vyvanse, so
Oh,
I'm going to just ignore that too.
well, American healthcare, they gotta advertise all those drugs to make some income.
Of course. So I had one more point I wanted to
Okay.
go over here. And um, so I think that holidays and traditions surrounding them are important because they help us express our love languages. So, if you don't know, the five love languages are physical touch, quality time, gift giving, which is more about the sentiment than the value of the gift. And then there's acts of service and words of affirmation. So, physical touch can include holding hands during a prayer or just giving someone a hug or a kiss. Acts of service can include helping to cook a holiday meal or helping to set up holiday decorations. Words of affirmation can include prayers for your family or telling others you're thankful for them on Thanksgiving or really any time of the year. Or even just saying, like, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, like whatever greeting is appropriate for the situation. And then quality time and gift giving are essential parts of our holiday tradition in obvious ways. We spend extra time with our families during the holidays, and most winter holidays include the tradition of gift giving. So, traditions, especially during the holidays, help us to build our relationships with important people in our lives. And so, that's my input on tradition.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've never, I guess, thought of that before, but that makes sense. That, and that's probably why I feel like sometimes tradition can also feel like more warm, I guess, and
Yeah.
loving inside too, because it is those love languages. But
And if, there's some people out there who may not be able to celebrate with their blood relatives or their family they grew up with, or due to whatever circumstances. But you can still create your own family. Find
Yes.
some people that are also looking for others to celebrate the holidays with. Create some traditions together, and you can always make your own family if you need to. Like, I
Yes. Oh,
believe that there's family you grow, the family you grow up with, and then the family you create for yourself. And sometimes you can include the people you grew up with in the family you create for yourself. It just depends on the circumstances, but yeah.
yeah, I'd agree with that. Obvious, and yeah, and obviously there's traditions I don't think we've ever done anything like it, but like I know that people do friends Thanksgivings,
Oh
friends
yeah.
Christmas, so a bunch of, even if you
Even,
still celebrate with like your family, you can still
yeah.
celebrate with like your friends too. But
Yeah.
also, yes, creating your own family if for whatever
Yeah,
reasons.
or even coworkers, like go to
Yeah,
the holiday Christmas party if they have one where you work.
definitely. I think it can be, and you can also make some traditions with yourself too. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like some,
Oh yeah.
if you want to start taking yourself out to dinner every Friday night, although I'm not suggesting that, that would probably be expensive, but
Yeah.
some
But
sort of tradition that you just start
yeah,
doing with
like
yourself, like
go to a
watching a
fancy
movie.
restaurant for the holidays. Yeah, or go
Yeah.
see a movie or something. Yeah.
Or even like, I don't know, doing a at-home spa day every Friday
Oh
night
yeah.
just with yourself. Just something to do for yourself. I think it's good
That's a
to,
part of self care for sure.
yeah, treat ourselves, and if you make a little tradition out of it, and yeah, it's just still makes you feel warm inside, I'd say, even if
Mhm.
it's a tradition with just you, because we have to love ourselves too, because we're the ones there for ourselves. But yeah,
Yeah.
so all right, was that all you had?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys can leave a comment below letting us know what you want us to talk about in future episodes.
Yeah, and you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and we do sometimes do some Twitch live streams. So you can check us out there too.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we do. Otherwise, we will see everyone next time.